Hey, my name is James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the Federal Reserve. They had their interest rate meeting yesterday. Now, what impact does that have on you if you've got a mortgage in the UK? Well, it has quite a big impact. There's a big fight with Donald Trump and the Federal Reserve. Are they speaking or are they not? Let's talk about what's going on in America and how that impacts British mortgage rates. If you're new around here and you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We've nearly had 4,000 subscribers just this month. 36,000 subscribers we hit this week. So thank you to everyone that does subscribe to the channel. And let's get more views on this piece of content. How do we do that, you ask? Very easy. Just smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And that pushes this out to more people. So thanks to everyone that does that. So, the Federal Reserve. I hear you asking, what does that mean for me? Because I'm in the UK, I don't care what happens in America. Well, actually, it has a big impact on your mortgage rate and what you'll end up paying. You see, the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve like to have interest rates fairly close to each other because it impacts the value of currencies greatly. In fact, it's more the Bank of England that are really bothered because America is so much bigger than us. There's a term out there that says follow the Fed. And so the Bank of England normally does that. They follow the Federal Reserve. Now, right now, the Federal Reserve, they have rates lower than the Bank of England, meaning we can do some cuts even if they don't. And so yesterday, it was an interesting meeting. The Federal Reserve held their rate at 4.25%. And so we in the UK are at 4.75%. So we can do 0.25% cuts without having really any impact on our currency, which is good. Now, what were they talking about? Now, the press immediately went for Jerome Powell and started asking him political questions. And he made it clear he wasn't really interested in answering those stuff. You may recall a few months ago, after Donald Trump won the election, Jerome Powell was asked, could Donald Trump fire you? He said, no. We are not able to be governed by the American government. They can't get rid of us. Everyone was a bit unsure whether that was true or not. But right now, they are having a big spat at the moment. So the Federal Reserve have said their big key considerations that they're keeping an eye on at the moment is inflation in the USA. It's dropped over the year. It's at just around 3% at the moment, 2.9% I believe it is. But there's a lot of possibility of inflation coming back in the US at the moment. And that's down to a few things. One, are we going to get tariffs on the 1st of February for Canada and for Mexico? Trump is proposing a 25% tariff. It's 2 days away. And we still don't know for certain if that is going to happen, which is crazy that people can't prepare. And that's not good. And that isn't good for consumer confidence or business confidence. They want certainty. They need to know what's going on. And right now, we still don't know, are we going to hit tariffs on February the 1st? No one knows for sure. Now, if they do put tariffs on, that would likely increase inflation in America. Because if you buy some lumber from Canada, and then the cost at the port goes up by 25% because you pay a 25% tax on that, then you're just going to pass that cost on to the people that buy that from you. And so that's the expectation there. The other thing that they want to really keep an eye on is what happens with the deportations. So it's hard to get real news out of America because it's like team sport. You watch CNN and it's for the Democrats. You watch Fox News, it's for the Republicans. It's literally like they are going for each other like a team sport. And what you'll see in that is that different sides are saying different things. What a lot of people are saying is because of the deportations at the moment, a lot of workers aren't showing up to work and potentially a lot of crops at the moment aren't getting picked and they might end up rotting before they even get to a supermarket. Now, if that happens and they can't pick the crops, costs will go up, and that will be another thing that could be inflationary in America, which is why the Federal Reserve has now said we don't even know when the next cut was. If we looked at this a few months ago, they were fairly confident that inflation was moving down and things are going in the right direction. Now, inflation has come down, but we've just got these few things that they want to see how things play out. They did also say in the meeting that if jobs start to drop, if unemployment starts to rise, that they would be prepared and willing to cut faster as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. So right now, the Americans were, in December, we were looking at 2 cuts in 2025. We're now looking at 0 potential cuts in 2025, according to the markets. How did this work out? Well, Donald Trump, he was at the Davos economic meeting the other day, I think virtually, but he was there. He said he's going to demand that the Federal Reserve cut rates, and they haven't. They've ignored him on that. Since the Federal Reserve meeting, Donald Trump is in the press saying this is ridiculous. They should be cutting rates fast, and the Federal Reserve is not dealing with this. Now, what was also interesting is Jerome Powell was asked, did you speak to Donald Trump yet? Have you had communication since Donald Trump was elected the president? And they haven't spoken, which is not great for getting things resolved. The Federal Reserve have a very important role in the interest rates. The government obviously need to get rates lower to reduce the cost of their debt and revive the economy. The fact that they're not speaking is not great for anybody, regardless of whether you like Jerome Powell or you like Trump. We want them to speak, even if we're in the UK. So how does this impact British mortgage rates, I hear you ask? Well, the fact that the Americans are less likely to cut means we may get less cuts in the UK. But what has happened is the markets have priced in their cuts for the Bank of England in February, on February the 6th, and it's still highly likely, 90% certainty, according to the market, that we will have a cut on February the 6th. Now, does that mean things could change? Could that change as we get closer to the meeting? What normally happens is, if the market has that much certainty, the Bank of England members are always doing interviews and stuff like that around the place. They would start suggesting, but not saying, that potentially it might not happen as quickly as we expect. They're not saying that, so I think that we will get that cut still on February the 6th. Now remember, we have 2 cuts that we can use in the Bank of England before we start going below the Federal Reserve rate. So we do have that luxury that we've got that. They'll also look, the Bank of England, at what's happening in our local economy. Unemployment is likely to be rising. You're seeing it every day. Supermarket chains are cutting staff. Small businesses are cutting staff because of the national insurance hike and the minimum wage increase as well. And so the economy also is teetering on a recession. It's so close to going in a recession, if not moving that way faster than we expect. So it is likely that I think the Bank of England will cut, but I do think that if the Americans don't do any cuts this year, that could reduce the amount of cuts we have. So I think you'll get a cut on February the 6th still, but I also think that we've still got that other one in hand that you'll get in the spring at some time as well. So I think we can have 2 cuts comfortably, even if the Americans don't. After that, if they don't start to cut, if Donald Trump and Jerome Powell don't speak, who knows what happens then? It's not great at all. And I think they do need to get in dialect and get things resolved to move this forward. Let me know, do you think the Bank of England will cut? Do you think the American interest rate impacts ours greatly? Do always comment below. Do smash like. Do check out all the other content on my channel as well, including this video right here.